Candace van der Merwe is the founder of the Western Cape Missing Persons Unit, sharing her unhappiness about the handling of the case of missing 6-year-old Jocelyn Smith. And this is such a sore point, Leanne, but unfortunately,
Good morning, colleagues. I see we are still only 10 on the platform, and we are not yet the quorum. It is already, but it's still just 9 o'clock. Maybe they are still coming. They are coming.
The top story is at 9 o'clock, 2 men arrested in connection with the killing of Salah.
Morning, Chair.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Yes, good morning, Nosipo.
We do have a quorum.
But your reception is forever not correct. No, Nosipo. Get the proper space. You are saying we do have a quorum?
Yes, Chairperson, we do have a quorum.
Okay. Can you then flag the agenda? Good morning, colleagues. There is the agenda in front of us. I want to welcome everybody to the meeting and hope that we all are well, and those that have got difficulties, please recover speedily. The meeting is duly opened, and let's observe the moment of silence for mediation and of prayer.
And no birth parks, no water. And then in December of last year, there were 2 substations. One is Observatory Substation, which is connected to Bellevue Substation. Observatory Substation burnt down.
Thank you very much. Apologies.
Yes, Chairperson, there is an apology from Ms. Tseke. She's in Angola on Parliament business. That's the only apology I received.
Okay.
So since then, we have been experiencing power outages.
It being the case, is there any member who might have any other difficulties that want to make us an apology before start the meeting?
The Bellevue substation are experiencing what is called load rotation.
None. Then we are at 4. Sharon?
Yes, Chairperson. I'll flag the report now.
Huge strain on the infrastructure. So every time there's an out, City Power complains that we are using too much electricity. We have brought to their attention that there are multiple illegal connections and they are not.
We can't hear you, Sherry. We can't hear you.
I think the report is flighted, Chairperson.
So we come together as a
The
collective.
report is flighted, Chairperson.
Today we're going to hand over a.
I'm going to quickly go through the report.
Proceed.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, there's a background.
Is the chairperson?
The chairperson must switch his TV off, man. We are in the meeting here. You need to respect us, Wena Mashego.
Oh. But why are you forever angry, Muthala, man? What is the problem? You have anger issues.
You must differentiate between order and being angry.
No,
I'm just angry.
You are forever angry.
I'm calling order. So
No.
it's a problem if you don't understand what is order.
Listen, even that anger, you are angry, man. You will die young if you do that.
I'll never die young. I'm very strong. How can I be angry for such? I'm just calling order to you.
Okay.
Mashego, you die before me.
Yeah, I'm older than you. I'm 65. You
May I proceed, Chairperson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In the introduction, I'm not going to read it verbatim. I'm just going to summarize some aspects, and some aspects I will read verbatim. In the introduction, at the inception of the Sixth Parliament in 2019, the formulation of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation emanated from a presidential proclamation, which combined the two portfolios, human settlements and water and sanitation, under one ministry with two distinct departments managing their respective sectors. The interconnectedness of water and sanitation made the merger a strategic move to address these issues in a more integrated manner. The merging of the departments of human settlements and water and sanitation was seen as a bold move by the government to deliver on a core function for the people. Subsequently, the following reasons prompted the shift to a separate ministry for the two departments. And the arguments made were that given the enormity of South Africa's water challenges and the fact that water management goes beyond human settlements, it was believed that two sets of expertise would better handle these challenges. And the other reason is water security is fundamental to people's lives and health, the stability of the economy and the economy's growth and sustainability. As a result, the Rules Committee of the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa proposed and adopted the establishment of a new Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation, and this report captures the work undertaken by members of the Committee on Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, under the leadership of the Honourable Mrs. Semenya, Member of Parliament between 2nd July 2019 and 30th August 2021, with the current Committee on Water and Sanitation Chairperson, the Honourable Mr. R. Mashego MP, between 31st of August 2021 and end May 2024. The key highlights, reflection of committee program in the Sixth Parliament just provides a summation of the more detailed and substantive information in the rest of the report. Over the last 5 years, it should read 2019 to 2024, the committee achieved the following: completed 3 training workshops facilitated by the Department of Water and Sanitation, National Treasury, Auditor General South Africa, and the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation. The training provided addressed the following broad areas: introduction to the water and sanitation sector in South Africa, introduction to budgeting processes, the Public Finance Management Act and National Treasury regulations, auditing terminology and processes to include new powers introduced through the amendments to the Public Audit Act and the Money Bills and Other Related Matters Act 2009. The committee engaged timelessly with the tabled budget votes, strategic plans, annual performance plans, and annual reports, including audited financial statements and non-financial performance of the department and its entities. With systematic oversight of the department's financial and non-financial performance, the committee noted the improvement of the performance of the department and water and sanitation. The department was struggling to maintain its growing concern position due to, amongst others, a high vacancy rate at the senior management level, that of Director General and Deputy Director General, scientists and engineers, high accruals and payables, significant underspending, bank overdraft, high irregular expenditure, unauthorized, fruitless, and wasteful expenditure. Recommended to the Ministry of Sanitation to reintroduce and publish the blue, green, and no drop reports last published in 2013. These reports are critical in protecting, operating, maintaining, developing, and managing water resources and wastewater. The reports were all published in 2023. The committee also oversaw the publication of the National Water Resource Strategy, which was reviewed in 2021. The NWRS 3 dictates that water must be protected, used, developed, conserved, managed, and controlled sustainably and equitably. Sustained focus on addressing water and sanitation services delivery within the intergovernmental relations framework and the district development model through its oversight mechanisms. Members noted that the department had improved its intergovernmental relations for water resources management, a function of the National Department, and water services provision, local government, by intervening where municipalities were failing to deliver water services. This has entailed ensuring cooperation and coherence, service delivery, and providing water security and human rights to water. The focus areas of work during the 6th parliamentary period comprised the following: the SIU investigation and internal disciplinary cases, budget vote for each of the years under review, tracking of audit outcomes over the 5 years of the department and its entities, assessment of wastewater treatment plants and water treatment schemes in all provinces, financial and non-financial performance of the department and its entities, supply chain management and procurement, water allocation reform, water pricing, key priority water and sanitation infrastructure projects such as the Bucket Eradication Program, Guyana Water Project, and the Imzimvubu Dam. Grant spending such as the Regional Bulk Infrastructure and Water Services Infrastructure Grant. COVID-19 and floods disaster relief. The key areas for future work in the 7th Parliament: the committee should undertake oversight on the following: allocation and spending of the regional RBIG and WISIG grants, amendments to the relevant pieces of water legislation, the National Water Act and Water Services Act, and should pay attention to the role of the National Department of Water and Sanitation and provincial spheres of government concerning interventions when municipalities are unable to. Implementation of the National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency, track water and sanitation infrastructure projects with related costs and timeframes. Dysfunctional wastewater treatment and water supply works lead to pollution, as was the case in the Rooiwal wastewater treatment works, Sedibeng Regional Sanitation Scheme. The debt management of bulk water provision between spheres of government, legislative compliance, including municipal water debt to water boards. The water boards, the risks associated with the financial sustainability of water boards, and progress on the realignment of water boards. Pardon. Phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, bucket toilets eradication program, water allocation reform, including transforming irrigation boards into water user associations. The key findings and recommendation highlights the key findings, and the recommendations are listed as areas for future work. And this entails transformation of the water sector, issuing water use licenses for the previously disadvantaged. Access to water and sanitation remains challenging as it has stagnated at about 90% and 80% respectively, with the most underserved communities residing in rural areas. Lack and delay of the implementation of consequence management in the department, sustainable infrastructure development with emphasis on operations and maintenance of wastewater and water treatment plant schemes, poor implementation of the bucket toilet eradication program, strengthening institutional capacity to undertake the work of the department and its entities, challenges in intersectoral cooperation, in regulation, institutional reform, and support for effective water services delivery. Some municipalities cannot perform the mandate for water services delivery due to a lack of capacity and instability in municipal councils. Pollution of water resources, rivers, aquifers, wetlands, etc., by dysfunctional wastewater treatment system. Lack of debt management for bulk water supply among the different role players. Challenges encountered in implementing the RBIG and WSIC grants. The equitable share is not used to fund water services in municipalities, resulting in a huge gap in funding for water services delivery at the local government level. Section 3 just highlights the department and entities falling within the committee portfolio. That is the Department of Water and Sanitation. It gives the core mandate, the department's 5-year strategic plans in terms of its programs. And the mandate, the objective of each of its programs, that is administration, water resources management, and water services management. The budget estimates for the period under review are depicted in the table below. The entities are listed: the TCTA, Water Research Commission, catchment management agencies, and other institutions supporting the work of the department, such as water boards. Challenges highlighted by the committee in undertaking its oversight mandate over the department and its entities in the period under review. For the period under review, members of the committee noted the following challenges concerning water resource management and water services provision in South Africa. In respect of the Department of Water and Sanitation, one of the issues was the sustainability and benefit of bulk water and sanitation infrastructure projects for specific sectors of the South African population. Members raised concerns around the sustainability of water and sanitation infrastructure, both new and aging, and noted that not all poor households benefit from large-scale water and sanitation infrastructure as a result of a large number of poorly functioning systems in rural areas, lack of reticulation systems, and restricted access in urban areas as a result of affordability or technical problems at the local government level. Many rural water supply schemes are not functional, maintenance budgets are inadequate, and many ventilated pit latrines are not being emptied. Many wastewater treatment works are operating over capacity and performing poorly. The second one that was looked at was a transformation of the water sector in respect of the issuance of water use licenses. Although the committee acknowledged renewed focus on transformation within the water and sanitation sector to unlock the potential of previously disadvantaged citizens, the committee argued that the slow pace sorry about that, that the slow pace of issuance of water use licenses for economic development disadvantaged resource-poor farmers. Access to water and sanitation. The committee noted that over the medium term, the department needed to ensure that the limited water resources were maximized to the fullest to provide safe drinking water and dignified sanitation for most of the populace. Ongoing oversight of consequence management for officials who caused substantial financial losses to the department also needed serious attention. Sustainable infrastructure development with emphasis on operations and maintenance of wastewater and water treatment plants. Infrastructure development will continue to be essential to the department's work. This is essentially true considering that 50% of wastewater treatment works and 44% of water treatment works are in poor condition, with 11% ultimately dysfunctional. The Blue and Green Drop Initiative must be provided with the necessary budgetary and human resources to undertake this crucial work component to improve compliance with wastewater and water supply standards. The other issue was strengthening institutional capacity to undertake the department's and entities' work. The committee questioned whether the department used a limited institutional capacity to excuse the weakness and failures of its plans and programs. The department must seriously address providing employees with the necessary skills and advanced training. Progress report and concluding amendments to the National Water Act and Water Services Act. Initially, the department proposed that the National Water Act and Water Services Act would be consolidated to address anomalies with pieces of legislation and ensure reform in the water sector. However, in the 2021 financial year, the department explained to the committee that this was unfeasible and amendments to the two pieces of legislation would be undertaken. Challenges in intersectoral cooperation in regulation, institutional reform, and support for effective water service delivery. Despite the political will to devolve the management of water resources to the local level, numerous challenges forced the state to play the role of initiator, facilitator, referee, and regulator in the current system. Some of the difficulties reviewed in the devolution of the SHIF encompass the following: severe backlogs in service provision in many municipalities, basic principles such as equity and efficiency in water distribution and allocation are not effectively implemented, the need to balance water use between socioeconomic users to maintain ecological integrity, and the needs of the citizens must be effectively worked on. Clarification of the role of government, civil society, and the private sector in the water and sanitation space, advancement of women in water and sanitation projects at a national, provincial, and local level, and clarity on conflicting water use rights. The other issue that the committee noted was the mandate of municipalities in water service delivery. And the committee noted that there is a need to relook at the ability of some municipalities to operate as water user authorities or water services providers. The crux of this debate was whether these functions should be taken away from certain municipalities as conditional grant is not optimally used for intended purposes, or whether these grants should be ring-fenced to ensure compliance by municipalities. Another point was that the National Treasury, in monitoring and evaluating spending trends on water services in municipalities, will not issue any enforcement against a particular municipality for using the ring-fenced equitable share for other purposes. There is therefore a need to bring about more stringent accountability measures against non-performing municipalities. The pollution of rivers and streams. The committee reiterated the concerns on health-threatening environmental issues, such as a lack of safe water, inadequate sanitation, poor wastewater management, and environmental degradation, as well as the impact on specific communities in South Africa. And the last one that the committee highlighted was the challenges encountered in implementing the Regional Bulk Infrastructure and Water Services Infrastructure Grant. The implementation of the WISIC and RBRIC face several challenges and must be continuously monitored by the National Treasury and the Department of Water and Sanitation. These challenges are related to the following: poor planning procurement processes leading to project delays and poor performance by contractors, the lack of effective project and contract management, the alignment between raw, bulk, and reticulation infrastructure is often suboptimal, leading to vandalism and repeated repair work, the absence of an infrastructure management system, the lack of a prioritization plan for RBRIC projects, corruption challenges affecting the success of the financing of water infrastructure projects, and hostility towards private participation on water and sanitation infrastructure projects. Section 4 gives the functions and mandate of the committee. And the committee carries out its mandate through monitoring the department and its entities' financial and non-financial performance to ensure service delivery and legislative implementation, considering and processing legislation and statutory instruments, considering and processing international agreements and petitions referred to it, facilitating public participation where stakeholders, citizens, and experts can make submissions and issues of oversight and legislation, considering all issues referred to it for consideration and report. 4.1 gives the key statistics of the number of meetings held, the legislation process, and the number of oversight trips and study tours undertaken. Okay, and then 4.2, briefings and public hearings, goes into a little bit more depth on the work of the committee with regard to, for instance, finalization of internal departmental arrangements and SIU interventions. And it just highlights the objective of those particular briefings. The second one is briefing by provincial departments of water and sanitation on district implementation plans for the 2021 financial year. Financial and non-financial challenges impacting service delivery. And the committee conducted a series of briefings between 5th June and 16 October 2020 to assess the effectiveness with which concurrent human settlements and water and sanitation functions are implemented, aligned, and integrated into various provincial strategic plans aligned with national policies for the 2021 financial. Briefing sessions were held with the Department of Water and Sanitation, water boards, and provincial departments from KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape, Northern Cape, Northwest, Free State, and Eastern Cape. The following recommendations underpin the briefings as mentioned above. The recommendations talk to strengthening institutional reform and realignment to ensure synergy between water resources management undertaken by the national and water service delivery local level. Develop an institutional framework or guidelines that clarify the clearly defined roles, responsibilities, and accountability within the entire water and sanitation value chain. Support municipalities in building sufficient economies of scale. Promote good governance in the water sector institutions, evaluating and management concurrent functions, and the way in which the department will utilize the district development model to support and assist municipalities. Specific concerns were raised around provincial efforts to deal with the province's wastewater treatment plants, such as the Tshwane municipality, where 15 plants have been flagged for non-compliance. And the committee made the following recommendations to the Minister of Water and Sanitation, and that is to engage the Tshwane municipality to address the serious shortcomings in managing the integrated wild river system, provide progress reports and mitigation measures to address AMD in Gauteng, provide a progress report on the number of directives, oversee grant funding, interventions for the blue, green, and no drop assessments. On the Department of Water and Sanitation, Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, and the South African Local Government Association engaged with the National Treasury on a collaborative review of infrastructure grants to improve the grant structure for water and sanitation infrastructure, improving asset management, and define more exact roles for national and local departments in the management of grant systems. Debt management, the enforcement of the proposed interministerial task team recommendations, and remedial action on debt recovery. In response to recommendations, the department noted the following. Money had been ring-fenced to deal with the refurbishing. The department had taken legal action against perpetrators. The departments of COPTA and the Department of Water and Sanitation worked on an initiative to address financial problems. Ensuring that municipalities pay Rand Water to strengthen its debt management plan. The report was adopted and tabled in the ATC. The second one was debt management of bulk water provision between spheres of government, legislative compliance. The committee stressed the importance of complying with Section 51(1)(b) of the Public Finance Management Act, which requires that accounting authorities of public entities take effective and appropriate steps to collect all revenue due to the public entity concerned, to settle all contractual obligations, and pay money owing, including intergovernmental claims, within the prescribed and agreed period. The committee further noted that any measures preventing water boards from collecting revenue in conflict with the Public Finance Management Act poses financial risks if municipalities default on contractual obligations. The recommendation was that the Department of Water and Sanitation and Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs support water boards in implementing the credit control measures, including the measures outlined in Section 4(5) of the Water Services Act, which outlines procedures for water restriction where necessary. 4.2.4 were the audit findings on accruals and payables under expenditure, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and irregular expenditure. In this section, the committee reiterated the continuous and ongoing oversight mandate in holding the department accountable for audit outcomes related to increased transgressions during a specific period. This is related to audit findings on accruals and payables, under expenditure, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and irregular expenditure. The graph that was provided by the Department of Water and Sanitation at one of the presentations, I think best illustrate the improvement over time made by the current department in resolving the financial challenges incurred by previous administrators. So one can look at the spikes and the increase or the decrease over the 5-year period. This is a trend analysis of irregular expenditure. And then we come to legislation. The committee only had one piece of legislation that it's going to finalize. Well, I'll still have to put the date on that. That is the National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency Bill that was tagged as a Section 75. And we still have to complete our deliberations on the bill. The bill was tabled and referred to the committee on the 25th of August. And the bill seeks to provide for the establishment of the South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency as a state-owned company and major public entity. And then some narrative on what the committee had actually done in overseeing the processing of that particular bill. On 19 September 2020, 2023, the Department of Water and Sanitation briefed the committee on the bill in a virtual meeting. And in facilitating effective public participation in the bill, the committee published a call for public comments, with the comment period lapsing on 4th November 2023. The committee received 120 submissions, 75% of which did not support the bill, while 10% of the submissions supported it. There were various reasons for full support, partial support, and complete rejection of the bill. Many of the comments from the general public that did not support the bill were not specific to the content of the bill, but related to the intent of the bill, which is the establishment of the agencies. Pardon. The committee made amendments in the form of an A list and B version of the bill and submitted a report to be tabled on that one. Okay, we're going to be looking at adopting and tabling it. In terms of the oversight trips, domestic and international, one to Lesotho. In terms of the oversight to visit to Limpopo and Gauteng on the 20th of January to the 7th of February. The objectives of the oversight were to receive briefings and undertake site visits on initiatives to ensure water and sanitation delivery through sustainable infrastructure development, specifically bulk water projects and wastewater treatment works in Limpopo and Gauteng. And then the narrative goes on just to explain the objectives of the trip, the findings of the trip, and the recommendations of the committee on the trip. And the recommendations reads as follows: the deteriorating and aging infrastructure and lack of maintenance of the underground pipes had resulted in significant water losses and contamination of water sources, and this required urgent intervention by all water and sanitation institutions. Some municipalities mandated as water services authorities were the highest polluters. Thus, they needed to reconsider the mandate as they failed to run wastewater treatment plants and water treatment plants. So status of the report, it was adopted and tabled. And then the next sections just talk about how the committee engaged in follow-up meeting with regard to the issue of City of Tshwane and Hammanskraal and the Rooiwal water treatment works. There was another meeting on the February 2020 oversight to assess water and sanitation infrastructure in Giyani and Polokwane. And then there was an international tour of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project. And then the recommendations read as follows: the treaty between the Republic of South Africa and the Kingdom of Lesotho and the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, to consider the treaty and identify areas that needed to be amended to align the treaty with the current socioeconomic needs of the two countries. The impact of tourist boats and vessels, and the issue around the Namibian no objection letter. The status of the report was adopted and tabled, and there was an oversight to the Eastern Cape Province in January 24th of January to the 27th, 2022, the objectives of which were to assess water and sanitation challenges, incorporating inspections of existing bulk water projects such as dams, the scope, nature, and efficacy of existing desalination plants, and eradication of the bucket system. And the committee recommended the following. Committee noted that notwithstanding the challenges such as those posed by COVID-19, which halted work on undertaking bulk water projects, it acknowledged the ongoing work by the Department of Water and Sanitation and the Eastern Cape Regional Office on finding solutions to address water shortages in the province. Members observed the following critical challenges: spending on grant allocations, non-compliance to contractual obligations, procurement issues, delays in payment of invoices, poor planning and delays in finalizing of projects. And the resolution was that the Department of Water and Sanitation, through the ministry, should provide concrete measures on the water and sanitation sector to develop an implementation model that factors in the operations and maintenance of schemes whereby unspent or poorly spent government grants can be managed on behalf of the water services authorities. Water boards or other service providers used on behalf of the municipalities monitor and evaluate the progress of project at every stage, inception to completion. Sorry. And then it just gives each of the projects within that area scope, within that area. In Mzimvubu, our Tambo bulk water project, not in Kwamake water project. Sorry about the pronunciation. And then the status of the report was adopted and tabled. The oversight visit to the Vembe District Municipality in Limpopo from the 28th to the 29th October 2022. The visit focused on engaging substantively with the complaints highlighted in a petition submitted to Parliament by the Nandoni Complaints Resolution Commission. The committee assessed the departmental commitment to constructing, refurbishing or augmenting bulk water and sanitation infrastructure to address water challenges in Guyana. The committee made the following recommendations: ensure the obligations of the Office of the Public Protector are timeously conducted to oversee the implementation of previous and current remedial actions on all matters raised in the petition, strengthen trust and accountability between the national, local, and affected communities, restructuring or revisiting the current structure of the technical committee to include the two representatives, Mr. Baloy and Mr. Nechivambe. The money budgeted for the project at its inception must be audited to ascertain whether there were fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and if so, whether consequence management of any evidence transgression would be investigated. The newly established technical steering committee should report on progress made on further remedial actions and whether these were adequately addressed. The department promised that this information will be relayed to the committee by August 2023. Status of report adopted and tabled. Just on this information that the committee required in terms of deadlines that they provided to the department. The Secretariat does have a tracking tool to ensure that the commitments made by the department are agreed to. Status of the report adopted and tabled. On the 29th to 31st March 2023, the committee overtook a visit to the Free State Province to ascertain the extent of eradication and confirm and verify the achievements of targets communicated to the committee. And the recommendations read as follows. The department should provide written monthly project progress reports to Parliament. And the committee must host monthly virtual meetings on the bucket eradication program to assess progress towards completion dates as presented during the oversight and agreed to by all stakeholders. The department should secure all wastewater treatment plants and related infrastructure. To this end, the department should provide a security report to Parliament by June 2023, detailing security provisions at these projects. As mentioned earlier, the Secretariat does have a tracking tool which could be availed to members with regard to ensuring that these obligations are met. In the same way, by July 2023, there should have been a report on implementing these directives. And all of the recommendations has set dates on which the department should comply with the recommendations and provide reports to the department, reports or briefings. The status of the report, it was adopted and tabled. On 18th to the 19th, 2023, the committee assessed the progress on the Giyani bulk water project, and the focus of the April 2023 oversight was to assess departmental commitments to constructing, refurbishing, or augmenting bulk water and sanitation infrastructure to address service challenges in Giyani. And then the committee recommended the following. The committee called for consequence management against those who have defrauded the state, negatively impacting the project's implementation. In its legacy report, the committee will urge the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation in the 7th administration to ensure focused oversight on the investigation and prosecution of perpetrators. Monitor timeframes with respect to the completion of different phases of the project and leverage technology for sustainable water management at bulk infrastructure projects. And then another recommendation was that the department and the Mopani District Municipality should explore ways to speed up the construction process using modern technology such as solar panels to generate electricity for water treatment plants and digital construction planning. And then the rest of the recommendations, I'm sure members can read through it. It looks at intergovernmental relations framework. And it's quite detailed with regard to the recommendations. I'll just talk to that later. The status of the report, it was adopted and tabled. The petitions between 2019 and 2023, the committee received several petitions which comprised the Bonero Park petitions, which related to residents in Bonero Park complaints about sewage spills affecting their lives, and the other held on 28 May related to sewage spills in the area. And the committee made the following recommendations. Department of Water and Sanitation will submit a report within 14 days on interventions by the city of Ekurhuleni to mitigate the impact of sewage spillages in Bonero Park. The status of the report was adopted and tabled, and the petition from the Nandoni Complaints Resolution Committee tabled on 13th April 2022. The status of the report was adopted and tabled. Petition from the residents of northern and northeastern suburbs of Rustenburg, Northwest Province. The petition related to residents' complaints that reservoirs were insufficiently filled and could not supply certain areas with water. The lack of sufficient water supply to the residents was due to inadequate maintenance, insufficient tools and equipment, lack of staff, lack of expertise within the staff component, and an outdated manual system to manage the waterworks. Other issues impacting access to water for this community relate to the state of the municipal administration, which did not have a municipal manager, and the recommendations were that the petition be referred to the Department of Water and Sanitation and Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. The 4.6.4, the petition from the residents of Warrington, Northern Cape. The petition pertained to communities in Warrington not receiving water for months and in some places for years. Other significant challenges encountered in the petition related to poor political leadership, the funding with regard to the water treatment projects in terms of escalating cost, and a bulk water pipeline with a budget of 18 million and a completion date of 21 is still incomplete. The impact of the February floods and challenges caused by a project non-completion, and the recommendations that the members made was that the petition be referred to the Department of Water and Sanitation and Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs for their responses. Another a very important recommendation was to Parliament itself that the chairperson write to the National Assembly or the unit charged with the referrals of petitions to the respective committee to ensure the correct procedure is followed in assigning petitions. This is related to the continuous referral to the Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation on petitions highlighting the challenges communities face in access to water services provision. The committee stressed that water services provision falls within the mandate of the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, and incorrect referrals result in delays in the processing of the petitions. And the status of the report was adopted and tabled. And then the block just talks once again about the challenges in respect of petitions, referrals to committees. Summary of outstanding issues relating to the department and Department of War. Ensure that the department responds to committee recommendations within specified timeframes. Entities, ensure that entities respond to committee recommendations within specified timeframes. Provincial Department of Water and Sanitation, ensure that provincial departments respond to committee recommendations within specified. Other matters referred by the speaker was a memorandum on the delivery of human settlements of service delivery on water and sanitation and human settlements specific to the Breeder Valley municipality in the Western Cape. The report was not adopted. With regard to the obligations conferred on committee by the legislation, as members are aware, the Money Bills Act culminates in the compilation of the budgetary review and recommendation report, which assesses service delivery performance given available resources and efficiency and effectiveness in resource use and forward allocation. The recommendations between 2019 to 2024 are as follows. The department develops internal controls and instruments to monitor and eliminate irregular, wasteful, and fruitless expenditure to reduce inefficiencies. The committee will continue to monitor budgets and request quarterly reports on consequence management for non-compliance with the Public Finance Management Act regulations. The department implements the Auditor General's findings and provides written reports and strategies to address findings. Effective data management is needed to improve the Office of the Auditor General's recurring findings on the quality and reliability of performance information. The committee will monitor this aspect quarterly. The department and other critical stakeholders in the water value chain ensure that water services authorities devise effective operations plan to manage schemes sustainably. And then the committee just provided certain short-term measures. The department should fast track and finalize investigations, apply consequence management on those officials found transgressing, and provide progress reports to the committee in the first quarter of 2024. So these are all the recommendations contained in the budgetary review and recommendation report for the period 2019 to 2024. Challenges are emerging, lack of responses from the department on previous budgetary review and recommendation and budget vote recommendations. The 7th Parliament should consider following up on the following concerns that arose. The department's budget spending is not in line with service delivery performance. There are high budget expenditures, but poor performance against set targets in some provinces, in some programs. Quality and reliability of performance data. Consequent management for poor performance and transgressions. And then the recommendations, just general recommendations with regard to the budgetary review and with regard to the work of the committee in Parliament. There is a need for a systematic and standard mechanism for ensuring that all issues raised are addressed and detailed responses are presented in the reports of the committee once they have been addressed within the requested time frame. Strengthen links and close working relationship with other parliamentary committees, hold midterm strategic planning sessions to review or amend the strategic plan of the committee. Training committee members and staff is essential to refresh and enhance skills for effective oversight. Regular committee management meetings will strengthen the committee's regular planning and communication. The strategic plan was drafted and submitted for consideration, but not adopted by the committee, and it is attached as Annexure A. It's a 3-year strategic plan from the time that Parliament decided to have 2 separate portfolios. And Annexure A just gives the 3-year strategic plan of the committee, portfolio committee on water and sanitation. Chairperson, I just need your guidance with regard to whether the recommendations on each of the briefings, public hearings, should be summarized further in this report. I thank you, members, for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think the report is very detailed. Sometimes it supplies too much information. It's okay. It just allows the 7th Parliament to have a general sense of what is it that we did and what is that we are recommending they do. Sorry. I'm sorry for that. Okay, let me see if there are hands, and I think we are comfortable with what you did, Sharon. Let me see the hands, if there are any hands that want to entertain the report. Just remove the... Okay, I see the hand of Honorable Hendricks.
Do you want me to take off the, sorry, Mr. Hendricks?
No, you can leave it because people might want to refer to it when they make their input. Leave it. Mr. Hendricks?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, we are looking at a very well-written report. However, there are some matters that I want the Chairman to consider. I think it's important that the report showcases the disciplinary cases and the prima facie criminal cases that hasn't been dealt with. Because it's nearly 1,000, I think it's very important. You yourself mentioned that there's been so much neglect that you want the last 4 ministers of water to be brought to book. And I think that your concern must also be carried over to the 7th Parliament, so that we haven't dealt with that. Maybe they will have the political will to do so. It is important that the oversight visits, especially on bucket toilets, we need to know how many are left. Because when President Mandela came to power, our first honorable president, he mentioned that he will eliminate bucket toilets in 6 months' time. And it's 30 years now. No political will. Then taking Parliament to the people, I think the committee has done that, especially with regard to the 80-meter dam. I think it was Umzumvubu. When we went there, we didn't find a dam but a gravel road. The people who were the first to fight for our liberation, still the last to receive water. So I think the report must send signals to the 7th Parliament that they need to speed it up, because unfortunately the 6th administration failed to do so. There are many areas like Matuba, no dam, no water treatment plants, only rivers. People have to throw stones in the dark so that they can put their buckets in the water. One person dies every month because of the fierce flow of the river. The report is very soft on sewage pollution, and sewage pollution is covered by the NEMA Act, and officials can be fined a million rand. They can go to jail. I would like the report to say that so many officials, because sewage pollution, we know all over the country there are problems, especially in the Western Cape under the DA administration. Sewage pollution is very important, and we need to know were there any officials charged, and of those charged, have anyone been fined or jailed? I think it's important to have some substantive reporting on that. Then, of course, what were the consequences for municipalities not collecting revenue and not having bylaws in place to do enforcement? I don't want to mention the municipalities for fear of embarrassing the chairman. So we need to. The report says that the 7th Parliament must prosecute. It's an indictment on the 6th Parliament that we didn't prosecute. So we need a bit more clarity on why we're passing the buck to the 7th Parliament. Is it because one can expect those whose hands are not clean to speed up prosecutions? Lastly, Honourable Chair, there's no report on the quality of boil water. We need to know how many of South Africans depend on boil water, and the quality of that boil water. What is being done to test it? And lastly, I think it's important that we give the administration a score out of 10. And if you ask me, Mr. Chairman, I will give them 1 out of 10. Thank you very much.
Honorable Tseki. Honorable Tseki.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Sorry. Just few things, Chair. I want to support the report. But the report tends to be very general, Chair. Make an example of the Tshwane wastewater challenge. Lives were lost there, Chair. I think maybe we should somehow enrich that part to be very specific. We visited Nandoni. There were challenges in Nandoni. with a view of addressing them by the department. The report must reflect the intention of the department. I understand that this report is a handover report, as it's called legacy report. So it's not like a 3-month report, it's a 5-year term report. So I would request an expansion so that those that will be taking over on the committee, of course, if there's a political will, as Comrade Hendrik says, depending on the political will, if they go through it, they must have a picture and the challenges that this committee has faced so that they should not start from zero. Also, the issue of the bucket system. We had a number and we've been promised that this bucket system will be done, within 6 months, every now and then. But we are finishing our term. The bucket system is not. So some of the areas where we could not perform, or not we, but the department, it must reflect, in my view, that here the department has said the following, and the next report is expected, and the next completion is expected, something like that. I had Nandoni, and then the other one is the international visit. When we went to Lesotho, Chair, the local beneficiation of Lesotho was a matter of serious interest to the Lesotho community and Lesotho representation. So within it, it was said that they would want to benefit as local business out of the projects. Of course, there are beneficiations of, roads, moving people from the old areas to the new areas, but the continuous beneficiations of business, especially in fishing, skiing, and anything of water resource, where water will move underground from a community, but that community is not getting any water, something like, if you remember the apartheid electricity pylons will be on a village, but that village would not benefit from the electrification because of apartheid. So we can't continue as South Africans to do that to Lesotho community. So beneficiation of Lesotho. In Lesotho, again, there was an issue of this 1986 agreement, which I think we also discussed, that the ministries or the leadership of the two countries must be able to relook at that document and respond to the challenges of today, make it amenable to the needs of the Lesotho and to the needs of South Africa. So those are a few points here. I'm not saying she has not mentioned, she did mention, but I would encourage or propose some sort of more specification, not only on this one, and others as well, so that it can be a tangible report. Thank you, Chief.
Madlala?
No, thanks so much, Chairperson. I will also give compliment to a well draft report, but we are not saying that is not. It is well drafted, but we are not saying that all issues have been have been involved in this report. So I want also to put to table some issues that I think they were not expanded, the manner in which they were supposed to be expanded. The issue of warranting. There's a warranting issue of water, where people of Warrington doesn't have water. We received a petition. It came via the ACDP. And the issue, we need to get a reflection on that issue thoroughly. What happened afterwards, because the president of the country went to that area, but still today the people, they don't have water. So I think we need to expand so that all the next administration of parliament understand how did we tackle the issue and how far are we now with the issue of resolving the water in the provision of water in Warrington, Northern Cape, under Magareng municipality. Yes, I agree with the speakers who spoke with regards to the Hammanskraal issue. We also need to expand on that. What happened? There's a lot of lives that have been lost through cholera matter. We want to know how far are we now, so that the next administration, when it take over, it knows exactly what to do. Let's expand on the issue of the river and the timber treatment, water treatment plant, because we will be not doing justice if we don't talk about that in detail. Chairperson, the other issue is the issue of Nandoni, which I think it was a burning issue in the country for some years. And I also feel like the expansion is not proper there, because we promised the people that will provide water in 50-something villages. So we need to expand on that now. In this administration, how many villages did we give them water, and how many villages did not get water, and what is the reason behind that? Why did they not get water? It seems like everything is just delaying, and time is running, because water is life. The issue of the budget eradication, also the same applies with that, more especially in the Northern Cape, where we even said we're going to conduct an oversight visit around August. But that never happened. And the people of Northern Cape are still using budget systems. So we need to put this in detail as well. How many did we eradicate, and how many did we not eradicate? And what is the reason of not eradicating this thing? I think Honorable Hanif put it clear that when Mandela took over, he said in 6 months he will make sure that everything is eradicated, the issue of budget systems. But today, we are talking this for many years and nothing is happening. So we need to also come in details with regards to that. We also went to Free State for oversight. Upon our arrival, we found out that the structures of toilets, but the system the infrastructures to flush and everything was a problem. So we also need to talk about that, because I think there was no plan in terms how can you build the toilets for flushing and then you don't have a system to the infrastructure to work with those flushing toilets. At the end, they end up being vandalized and everything. And when the people are even using those toilets now, they are flushing and the car is going to the streets. So we also need to talk about that. What happened? Because that was the concern of the committee. Why the infrastructure after you have erected the toilets? Why did we not in the beginning realized that these things, they need infrastructure for them to operate. So we also need to elaborate on that. The other issue, when we took over in the 6th administration, the issue of war on water leak was a topic, was topical. So we can't just not ignore it and put in our report. How many liters of water are we losing every day? How far are we in terms of the water, the war on water leaks? There is millions of rands, billions of rands that has been spent on that project, where artisans were trained, and we don't know where those artisans are now. So can we get a report also on that in this legacy report? How did that thing end? Because it was some of the issues that were raised in this administration, wanting to know what's happening. What is the municipality doing in those artisans with regards to those artisans that have been trained by the department, where millions of money, billions of money was used? What happened to that? Let's also have a report in terms of that. I mean, in the legacy report, we have a portion that we speak to the war on water leaks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Though I do find that our process is we are missing the point at sometimes as to what is the legacy report supposed to be entailing. Because if you raise new issues that were not discussed in the term of office, you raise it today. For instance, the Nelson Mandela 6 months thing, I hear it for the first time in this meeting. We have never referred to Nelson Mandela, referred to Lindiwe Sisulu, because our legacy report starts from 2019 to 2024. So we could not have spoken about the 1994 matters in this, because we have a legacy report to talk to. But if it comes now at the tail end of the term, and you want it to reflect in the report, it will be wrong because it was never discussed in our meeting. The legacy report is to give a report on things we did in the 5-year term. And it should say, this is where we did not finish. We are handing over to the new term of office. You want to hand over something that you have done that you could not finish, which you think the new parliament must not start afresh because there was work to be, which were done. They must look at it to finalize it. But if you bring new issues in this tail end of the report and want it to be written in the report, it will be wrong because you'll be misleading the new parliament as if it is something that you dealt with. Of course, there are a lot of things that you are wanting emphasis on. It is written in the report, but one emphasis, I don't think there is something wrong with it. If emphasis are being put, for instance, the issue of, as a matter of fact, Honorable Khanif and Honorable Musala, we went to Bloemfontein. In actual fact, the houses that we would still need to talk to, it was 10,272 only. And this is not something that emanated from 1994. Because 1994, all Black Township have got bucket system. And then Mandela could have spoken to every Black Township which had bucket system. And the bucket systems that you are looking today are the one that is a moving target. So you can't relate it to 1994 because these houses that you are talking about, they were not there in 1984. Now for you to want to count it here, it is going to be wrong. But I mean, Shireen, you will have heard what members are saying. Places where you think you needed to put emphasis in the report, put them, but things that were not necessarily part of your 5-year term, which were not in employment in 1994, don't speak about it in the report because it's going to be wrong. For instance, if I may just say to you, if you go on my slide to 2.3, I'm sure there is where you wanted to say where. Just go to 2.3. I might be wrong in my English, but I heard you saying things that you did not write in the report. Just a minute. Yeah, go up. Go up a bit. Go further up, not maybe down for you. It might be down, 2.3 down. Okay, further down. Just a minute, hold on. I'll show you. You were reading where, and you were saying when. You wrote when, but you're saying where. Yeah, but as you read your English, you might find it. I don't get it. I just wrote in my shorthand. I don't get it, but as you reread your 2.3, you will find where you are using when you are supposed to be where. That's before dysfunctionality. But you will find it as you read it. Let me not bore you on that. And no, Sharon, don't feel wrong for failure to pronounce Namakwa. It's quite a lot of even African people that might struggle to pronounce Namakwa. You have tried your best, and we shouldn't fault you on that. But as I'm saying, colleagues are not saying, Sherin, the report is incorrect. They are saying where you have not emphasized some of the things that we emphasize as a committee, please do emphasize them. And the report is generally understood and heard. Add where you think you have, you might have understated things that we have done, and emphasize them as the members are saying, because they are not rejecting the report. They are just saying that you are not necessarily putting more emphasis on the things they've raised as a matter of principle. And I think the issue of Warrington and Rustenburg and even the Banana Park one is written, but it is a little bit, as they're saying, it is faint. They need a little bit more stronger word being used. But the bigger issue to me, because this is a legacy report, is the recommendations we are making to the 7th Parliament for them to take forward. It should be very straightforward. It should be stringent. It will be attainable. It should be feasible. Because if you just hand over a report that is just talking to everything and everything else, you are making the recipient of the report not to take it serious, because you are not telling them anything specific. So our recommendations that we want to give to the 7th Parliament should be short, readable, amendable, and attainable. Something that you can assess. I don't know if you are saying there is a report that you are saying we did not adopt in 4.8. Was there a reason why we did not adopt? Because it is us who are supposed to have adopted that report in 4.8. And we're saying we did not adopt that report. I don't understand why we didn't adopt it. I'm sure we must give the reason if we did not. Because we can't tell somebody who's taking over from us that we did not adopt the report and we're not giving any reasons. If you might, 4.8, Sharon. We're at 4.11, 4.8. And I'm not saying we did adopt, just a little bit down to 4.8. Okay, yeah, here it is. You're saying the memorandum of delivery of human settlement of service delivery on water and sanitation in human settlement, specific to the Breda Valley municipality in Western Cape. this report was not adopted, and it was done in January 2020. Why is that? Do you still remember why was it not adopted?
Chairperson, I will ask information from Koliswa, who was the standing committee at that time.
Okay.
Or reasons thereof.
Please do, because I mean, we can't give a report to people, and we said we have a report in 2020. In 2024, it has not been adopted, and we are still here. We can adopt it if that report was presented to us, that it be brought forward. But the problem is that it includes human settlement, and we're no longer part of that committee. But the problem, but just find out what really is in order for us not to give an empty handover, because it is going to be empty in that sense.
Will do so, Chair.
I see the hand of Honorable Basson and also Honorable Mushala. And I hope that Honorable Mushala's hand is not legacy. If it is, it's fine. If it is not, she will talk. Honorable Basson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I would like to agree with you that this legacy report, I'm happy with the report. I agree with you that it should not be that detailed. I think this is not the first report also that Shireen has written. I have seen the previous handover report, and it's similar to this one. So from our side, we would like to thank and agree with you, Chairperson, that this report is reflecting what happened in the last 5 years. We could always add something, you could always add something, but in general, this is, for me as well, it reflects what happened, and this would be a good report for handover. Thank you, Chairperson.
Mushala.
The chair was a legacy hand.
Okay.
Chairperson, I'll effect some of the changes and send the report back to you before its ATC end of March. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. So the report is provisionally adopted, subject to the final report that will come on the at the end of March. We're not,
yes, Chair.
We're not adopting. Don't reserve your vote, Msala.
No, I'm just asking, is it possible after she sent you the report, we also receive the report? So
I will definitely give that instruction. I will want you to have it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. Thank you very much. Keep the good job up. Nasipo?
We adopting the minutes of last week's meeting, Chairperson.
I move that the minutes be adopted. Can I have a seconder? Mushala, are you seconding?
No, but can we please scroll down?
Not go.
I thought
you were second.
I thought you were asking
that. Since you can't just say, can you please adopt the minutes? Highlight of these minutes. Minutes actually by nature, when you bring them to the meeting, you read them. You don't just say that there's the minutes, let's adopt. By nature, it's like these reports. We receive sometimes the reports before, but when we are in the meeting, The reports get to be read. So this thing of just putting the minutes like that and then you say, let's adopt, it doesn't work sometimes to us. And it's actually not the correct processes or the correct protocol.
Musala. I said I was testing if you are asleep or not. Why?
Let's move.
Hey, page 1 of the minutes. That's where we are. If I thought I was joking with you with that, I thought you were
I had others are already seconding and moving. Then
no, she was also a joke. She knew that can't happen. She knew. She knew that can't happen. She's pulling her leg. Hey, Nosipo, page 1. Move to page 2. Move. We're now on page 3. The meeting closed at 11:30. Honorable, yes, Honorable Motlala, Honorable Matuba, and Honorable Zeki stands up.
No, thanks so much. I see on your minutes, it doesn't reflect our rejection to that to those minutes. We rejected the minutes.
You did not reject it. You said you are reserving your right. Let me say what you're saying. Go.
In terms of the A list, and with the minutes we rejected totally. We said we are rejecting the minutes. So it must be put there that the EFF reject.
Just a minute. Okay. 5, the constitution of the draft minutes. You are saying where have you done that, Musala?
No, the first minutes was rejected by the EFF, and the ANC adopted. Tina, we did not adopt, or we did not agree with the minutes, actually.
Look at the writing there. It says more reserved his right not to adopt the A list on behalf of the Community Freedom Fighters. Ms. Musala reserved her right also. Is that not what you're saying?
No, we're talking about the minutes. A list and the minutes is two different things.
Also,
the minutes, if I remember very well, Honorable Khanif rejected and the EFF also rejected. Al Jama rejected and we also rejected the minutes.
Okay.
In terms of
somebody speaking. You were Musala, you were on my case about my TV being on. Yours is on now.
It's not me.
Who is that?
I don't know who. Med.
Man, Meji, please, man.
I'm the poorest person ever. I don't even have a TV.
Sorry.
Okay. Nosipo. The Musala is saying in the minutes, they rejected the content of the minutes, and is that what you had? If so, please put it on the minutes.
Noted, Chairperson.
Of minutes, we rejected those minutes.
Okay, that's fine. It will be corrected.
And I think she must have the hands, the recording. And
no, she has accepted your view that she will look at it.
Putting it. Why? Such an important thing.
Musala, man, please, be part of the meeting, man. your
I'm
objection
not
is
in this
there.
meeting. If I was not in this meeting, the minutes were going to be adopted like
Yeah,
that.
why will you? Why
We
will?
we are having now the administration that is very political. Because we were there, it was an issue that we rejected those minutes. It was like burning for about 2 minutes where we were fighting about that, and we end up saying that we are rejecting. Then how can administration just ignore something like that? Such an important statement, such a big statement. The administration just leave and say, I'm not going to put it. So we are having administrators that are very political, and they must be careful. We are not going to allow those things. She must put there that we rejected.
You see, when you at the time you are going to leave the EFF, you will be very tired in your mind. You are forever anger issues with you. And I don't understand what kind of a family where you're staying, where you have correct the minutes, accept
No,
it.
we don't have anger issues. We don't tolerate things that are not in order in the EFF. When a person just wants to ukumosha into enhle, abantu ba rejected, we rejected. A person just wants to do her own things. We don't condone.
Don't sleep in meetings. Correct where wrongs are seen.
Hence, we are like this. But if you are working nicely, we don't have a problem with you. You'll see us that these people, they are actually appreciating people that are honest. We don't appreciate dishonesty. Dishonesty, we don't appreciate it. We strike it with everything, every means possible. Thank you.
Those that are listening to this meeting, they can see you are forever angry and you are going to die young, Mshala. Very young, you will die. Okay.
But Matthew, I don't care. I'm not here to come and massage you to be happy. And when you are angry,
I want to be massaged by someone.
This means I'm touching the nerve when you are like this. I don't care whether you are happy or you're not happy, but let's do the correct thing. That is the only thing that will make us laugh and smile together. But if you are here trying to trick us, it's not going to happen with us. I'm just trying to tell you. It doesn't happen when you try to trick us.
I don't need your massage, Mkhala. You are too angry to massage me. I want happy people to massage me. The meeting closed at 11:30. Is it 11:30? What time? They just go up. Let's see what time. At 11:30, yes. And it was moved by Honorable Matuba and seconded by Honorable Seki. Of course, with that amendment that the EFF want you to mention that they rejected with contempt the minutes. Because if you don't say it, they might be held accountable somewhere, the person.
Bye-bye. Is your last...
No, you're wrong. We're going to have a meeting.
I said bye. The EFF will be chairing these sessions next time, and they will teach you how we chair them. Orderly so.
We have seen where you are given MMC status, you eat all the money, you don't get the reports. So we now know what kind of leadership you
So
can
your
be.
lies won't deceive the people of South Africa. You are the ones that are stealing from the poorest.
No, is there any item?
The EFF, you can lie by any means, but you are not going to do anything. The EFF is the only party that will restore the dignity of the people of South Africa. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure people saw where you ate money in Ecuador and you can't account. You are hiding to account for the money. The meeting is adjourned.
If the people ate money, why you don't open a case? Go and open a case at the police station for the people that stole the money.